chords. Chords that have open strings in them, which is just every basic chord that you learn, Spanish chord really. But it's also chords where you play the notes higher up on the fretboard and then have those open strings ring out to create some interesting sounds. In the beginning, when I got really serious about playing guitar, I didn't want to look into open chords that much because I thought I couldn't move them around. So if I could play some really cool chord progression with open strings in one key, I couldn't move it to another key. And that held me back, which is really stupid, because those open, every instrument has its own things it can do that most other instruments can't. And on the guitar, open chords, this kind of sound, it's a little gift that you get really from the instrument. So you should really look into that and enjoy the cool open chord sounds there. So how do we attack this? Because in the beginning I was just coming up with random, just trying stuff out. And the chord progression you're going to learn in this video is a result of that, of just messing around with it. And then at some point I sat down and took all the chords, starting with A, and say, okay, A minor, A major, A9. What can we do with open strings and that A as a root note? And then I created a little encyclopedia, because I went on to B, to C, to D, and I created that little encyclopedia, which is really just all the cool chords that sound good, all the A chords that sound great, all the B chords that sound amazing, and then you can start combining them and doing stuff with them to create amazing chord progressions. And today, in this video, I'm just going to first of all show you this chord progression, and then we're going to look into how do you create your own open chord structures. What I played there was a little bit in A minor, and this is an open chord. This is your basic school here, A minor, that Spanish chord. You can make that sound a little more interesting or exotic by just removing your first finger. Just for those who don't know this, I have my first finger on the B string in the first fret. I have my third finger in the second fret on the G string, and my second finger in the second fret on the D string. Then if I lift that first finger, I put the ninth into that A, so it becomes an A ninth. But actually I'm suspending the third here, so we have no third, so this is not a minor chord anymore. This is just an A9, it's not major or minor, there's no third in it. But if I put the third in, you can hear it's major. I can raise that third and make it a major. And then I can go back and forth between major and just 9. So that's a really cool chord there. But I could also take these two strings and then see if I can play them higher up on the neck. And just by playing the A minor as a bar chord here, I can see that if I just took the two notes from the bar chord that are on the same strings, the D and the G string, up in the 7th and the 5th fret, then I can reintroduce the third. And again, I didn't come up with this little open chord. I didn't think my way to it using theory. I just, fooling around, and then I analyze it afterwards. So this is the third of A minor. Right there. So we're playing that, and then and this is from the chord progression, and then we're playing the A in the 7th fret on the D string. And you can see the charts for these if you download the material that follows this lesson. So you go to my website. If you're on YouTube, click the link below, go right to the page, download it with this video as well. So that's the chord. Now we have the third and the ninth, and we have them just right besides each other. So you have the third there, and on the next string you have the ninth. And if I play those alone, it just sounds kind of ugly. But if you play them along with the other notes, it sounds dreamy. A really cool chord, and very easy to play too. And then I just take the whole progression down chromatically. So I keep the note here, that third, and then I move this note in the 7th fret chromatically down, while I keep this note here. So I just go, and the only thing that changes is that I go down there, then I play in the 5th fret both notes, and it goes down again chromatically from the 5th, 7th, 6, 5, and 4, and then I get to the F, and then here I could just play a normal F, because F doesn't have any open notes in it, open string notes, but I can add some extra notes to the chord. I could try to just play the F down here and to not keep the bar there, so I have the B string and the E string open. So I'm only using my first finger to play that note there on the low E string. Interesting chord. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So let's look into what are we doing here. We have the E first of all. What is that to the F? Well, that is the major 7th. So now we have an F major 7th. And that would sound pretty jazzy if we just... But here, it's a completely different sound because the major 7th is on an open string. That's the traditional jazz fingering. So that's really beautiful. And then we have the B as well. So what is the B really? The 5th of F is C. The B is the tritone interval. It's the flattened 5th, which when it's all the way up here, we could call the, so if you count from, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be the 5th, and then we lower that to the B flat. But we can also count from 8 and then go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We don't call anything by the 12th note, but we call it by the 11th. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's the raised 11th. So we have a sharp 11th. We have an F major 7th sharp 11th chord. And it's not that hard to play. Actually, within this jam track, I'm just playing these two notes on the B string in the 3rd fret and on the G string in the 2nd fret. So get that nice, and I can just fits nicely because these two strings have been ringing out all the time in the chord progression. Then I started hearing some D minor, so I went. I like that D minor there. And I tried to play that with an open. So if you add the E again, which is the 9th of the D minor, I hope you're following me here. If you're not, then just forget about it. Just play the progression if you like it. So I'm going to play minor up here. So I come from F, then I just put my 2 fingers. Instead of playing the whole D minor up here, I just play the 2 notes from it. I play the open D string, and then I put my 3rd finger in the 7th fret on the G string, and my 2nd finger in the 6th fret on the B string. And then my 1st finger is ready to play that note in the 5th fret on the high E string. So that's a clean D minor. If I lift the 1st finger, I get that D minor with the added 9th. And again, I have this dissonance right there. That sounds beautiful in the context. And then I can go, which is what I do because I need to have my picking pattern. I need that extra note, so I'm playing to emulate 2 open strings or just two notes played at the same time. In the jam track, the next chord is just an E. You can also play an E major right down here. And so I use that and say, okay, you can also play an E up here with a bar chord. So you take the A shape and move it all the way up to the 7th fret. So you have that E chord up there. But then let's keep the open E string when we play that bar chord. And we also have an open E string down here. Let's keep that as well. So now I'm playing the same shape, but I'm not doing any bar. I'm only playing the middle strings and not the two E strings. But that's still just an E. So let me see what happens when I add that open B string by just playing what is normally referred to as a power chord. First finger, 7th fret, third finger, 9th fret, and fourth finger, 9th fret on the A, the D, and the G string. Nothing happens because the B is the 5th of E. So it sounds great because it has that open sound again. So you can choose that chord. Or you can go for something a little more spicy, which is really just a augmented triad with the addition of the B and E, the B string. So I have my third finger in the 7th fret on the A string, my second finger in that 6th fret on the D string, and then my first finger in the 5th fret on the G string. And if we're going to look at that, the only alien note here is the C. And what is the C? If we look at E major, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a sharp 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to get that C, we have to push it up one, so it's a sharp 5th. But we have the 5th already because that's the B. So we have this again, this interval where we have two notes a semitone away that rings together. And but we can also look at it as if we count from 8 from the octave instead and say 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12, and then 13, and then we lower the 13, so it could be a flat 13th. So we have a E major chord with a flat 13th. It could be a sharp 5th, but we also have the 5th, a natural 5th in the chord. So we get, if we have to write that in the correct way, it would be an E major chord with that sharp or that flat 13th. So that's all of it. And that gives us just open sounds all the way. And those are really, really relatively easy to figure out. But if you want to do it yourself, if you really want to come up with these cool chords, then all you do is you simply take that chord, you take a D, for instance, a D minor, and then you explore what the open strings does to that sound. So you might play a D minor up here, like that, with a bar chord, and then you can just say, okay, what happens if I leave out the D here in the bottom? I get a D minor with an A in the bottom. That's not perhaps the most beautiful thing I like, but I can try, say, okay, can I... That open string there sounds good. I can try lifting that. See what that string does. No, not. Try lifting this as well. That's a totally different chord. It loses its D minor quality because but it's that's a cool chord. So that's how you figure out where you have some cool chords, and then you can start developing those and changing the notes within them. Or you can really refer to or sit down and just go through every single chord and what you can do with it. Because it's not just the notes of the chord, it's also the notes that you can put on a chord, just like with the F that doesn't contain any open strings. And then you put on some extra outside notes and it becomes a totally different chord. That's about it. Just go to the website and download these charts that show you how to play this chord progression. And then it's finally just, for me, just play the progression again, just to have some fun, and I'll see you in the next video.